Where to buy over-the-counter tax deed properties today for pennies on the dollar without having to bid, without having to go to auctions. These are some amazing deals that you can scoop up starting today. These are properties that are just sitting in the county inventory right now, and they're being sold for the back taxes owed, which means you don't have to pay a mortgage, you don't have to pay anything. Sometimes these deals are 80, 90, 97% below market value. The biggest problem people face is where the heck do you go to buy them? So some big benefits of buying over-the-counter tax deeds is you can get the list immediately. Some of you guys will get the list today. Some of you guys will probably even buy some of these by the end of the day, as people who've been watching these videos have been doing. So these lists are available immediately, and this can be a clear path to getting into real estate in the fastest time possible, with a real asset that you can flip, whether you want to buy maybe some farmland, a lot in town, or find a house. One of the folks who watch the channel, they bought a mobile home for just $200. They paid a couple things to clean it up. They were into this thing for about $1,000 and sold it for 20 grand. So these are the types of things that can happen. And the amazing thing these days is you can do pretty much all of this from the comfort of home. Now, some of them might require you to go in person, but today we are going to look at some places where you can go and buy over-the-counter tax deeds quickly. And before we do that, we're going to bring in the master himself, Mr. Josh Blanchard. How you doing, Josh?
Hello, howdy. Happy to be here.
Excellent. So yesterday we did a live, and we talked about 3 amazing places to find some over-the-counter tax deeds, and that video is going pretty nuts right now. People are buying these things, scooping them up. So we're going to keep the train going here on the theme of over-the-counter properties, and show you where to go and how to do it. So if you're new to the channel, it's Dustin Hahn here. We got Mr. Josh Blanchard, and we are veterans of this game. We've been to hundreds of auctions. Josh is boots on the ground every month, going to Texas, hitting up Philly auctions, doing tax liens for the business here. And it's awesome. So we pride ourselves on having the most amount of free information on tax liens and deeds, government seized properties online. You will find over 3,500 videos on this channel. Our site, Tax Lien School, has interactive maps, everything you need to get started. And we're fired up to show you guys what's going on. So if you like this stuff, hit the thumbs up or subscribe if you want. And for everybody tuning in, let us know who we have here. You can put in the comments who you are, where you're tuning in from, because it helps us see who's watching and tailor the content. So we have a few people. We got Roxy coming in, Wasim. So Josh, I'll take a second here, and I'm just going to jump right over to the map and talk about a great place to find some of these over-the-counter deeds here today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, and for anybody tuning in, the easiest way to start finding these, obviously you need a map. So we have a map that we've provided. I'm just going to come over here right now, and you see my screen. So the easiest thing to do is on our site, Tax Lien School, if you click on this Knowledge Vault button up here, we have a fully comprehensive map, and Minnesota is a treasure chest of over-the-counter tax deeds. So you can come over here, and it is a totally free site and resource to find these properties and find them quickly. So all you'll do is come over here, click on, we're going to go to Minnesota. We're going to click here. We're going to click here to learn more about Minnesota. And what we want to do is we want to see what's going on in Minnesota. We want to go through the counties. So Minnesota has 87 counties. And remember, all of the tax deed states can have a chance at having over-the-counter properties. And these are properties that didn't sell at the tax deed sale. So, sorry, I said 87 states, but it's 87 counties in the state of Minnesota. And from here, you can come, you can learn the basics. But what we want to do, say, for example, this county here on the left-hand side, if you click on it, we have resources for the county. So you can come over, you can get the details, or maybe it's Ramsey County. But the most important thing you want to be doing is getting the phone number and then calling them and getting the list. So we're going to go through a few lists here in a minute. But for everybody who wants to find some of these, come over to the Tax Lien School Knowledge Vault and start to dive in. So we'll go into a few of those here momentarily. Josh, do you want to share kind of your thoughts here on over the counters, and we'll continue the show?
Yeah. So, the other day we looked at West Virginia, and West Virginia, what they've got is a 18-month redemption period. And so we highlighted that yesterday. And there are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of parcels that are available right now. And so anything you find that is 2021, 2022, and then even 2023 is pretty much going to be ready there to get foreclosed on right away. And so this is a place where not a lot of people know about. And a lot of times you can just make an offer and make the lowest offer that's possible that they're willing to accept, which is generally the back taxes. So we covered West Virginia yesterday. We highlighted a couple in Maryland. And so for Maryland, those are tax liens, but there's a lot of over-the-counter tax liens that have huge margins. And so a lot of times, you're going to have to be a detective. You're going to have to be filtering through a lot of the garbage, a lot of the trash to find those hidden gems. But yesterday when we showcased a few counties, and I see even some comments that there are some people who wanted to buy the property there in Anne County there in Maryland and the other county, there's a lot of good deals there. And so it's just about navigating through the different websites until you find something good. And so, Arizona is one that we've talked about a lot before. And what you need to know about Arizona is that there are so many irregular sized parcels there that you're going to have to be pretty committed to actually be able to sift through all of those parcels to find the gems. And so, if you're not wanting to do that, or if you want to do that, you could always hire a virtual assistant or use AI to help speed that up. That's a great plan. But sometimes you just go on the list and then you see, like lo and behold, there's some really good deals there. So we talked about that one yesterday. We also talked about the Commissioner of State Lands, which is in Arkansas. And I got to tell you, we used to get some sweet smoking deals in Arkansas. And then we started talking about Arkansas, and we would show up at auctions, and a whole bunch of people would be like, "Hey, Josh," and I'd be like, "Okay, then." And so there was a lot of competition. And so something great to keep in mind is that if other people cannot find it easily, if other people cannot just get on the internet and search it and get access to a list, that's going to be an even more valuable list. So there's a few lists that we got where we actually had to pay for the list. One time it was like 15 cents per record. It didn't end up being like too much because there wasn't a whole lot that was there, but that could certainly add up. And there's other times that we've actually had to sign, we had to notarize a document saying that we would not market to the list. And so that's just the more barrier to entry, the better. And so like Florida, for instance, if you just type in Florida over-the-counter tax liens, Florida over-the-counter tax deeds, you're going to find a lot of stuff. But pay attention to the counties that don't actually have a list available online. And those are going to be even better places to go because nobody else is going to have access to those lists.
Nice. All right. Stream's starting to fill up. Welcome, everybody. As you are tuning in, we see some familiar faces. David, how you doing? Roxy, welcome, everybody. Let us know who is here with us today. Your name, the state you're in, and what piques your interest, tax liens or tax deeds. And we will dive into basically some tax liens or deeds based on what you guys want to do. Welcome, Roxy. Good stuff. Who else do we have here? Canadians? Yes, Canadians can do this stuff as well. It's a great investment because you make obviously USD. Welcome, Mia from Devonport, Florida. Good to see everybody. Stream's starting to fill up. We got some people watching on Facebook here as well, which is very cool. So yeah, let us know who's here. And if you're interested in liens or deeds, we would love to hear from you. We'll dive into this New Jersey deeds in Philly. Josh, maybe we do a quick screen share as far as some stuff coming up in Philly. And this is a perfect example why you guys need to comment. If you put in the comments where you're investing, we can expose and dive into it. So as Josh pulls up some Philly information, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mention some counties in Minnesota that are really good. So I like Minnesota for over-the-counter properties. And the reason that is because there's a lot of smaller counties in Minnesota that you can go, and they have the lists available right now. So a couple things you can do. You can either go to like a ChatGPT or Google and just sort it by the smallest populated counties and start calling them. But the other thing we do to make it super simple is below this video is a link to the tax deed directory. So everybody can grab a copy of it and simply just pull up Minnesota. And we have the phone numbers and the websites for all of the tax deed counties. So these things are available literally today. Now, it won't be in every single county, but you get the phone number. And this is what I did when I got started was I just got the list of phone numbers. I called them up old school, and you want to ask the following questions. Say, hey, when is the tax deed sale? They're going to give you the date. And then you're going to say, what happens to properties that didn't sell at the tax deed sale? They're going to say one of two things. A, they might say, well, we don't have any. Or B, they'll say, well, we have a list. And basically those go into the county inventory, which is called the over-the-counter property. So at that point, you want to ask them, okay, how do I get the list? And they'll say, well, I can email it to you. Or they'll say it's on our county website. You get the link. Now, sometimes it was like Josh was saying before, was the harder the list is to get, the better it's going to be. So for example, if they want to charge you 40 or 50 bucks for the list, that is awesome, because what that means is very few people are going to be basically forking up the money for that list. And we hear it all the time. They're like, what? I wanted to go and get the list, but they wanted to charge me $50 for it. So screw that. And then we say, well, that's going to be an amazing list because everybody's going to be all offended like you are and not get that list. So those can be really good lists. Or if you call the county and they're like, oh, we don't do tax deed sales. Sometimes those are great as well, because you call back, talk to somebody else and say sheriff sale, and they'll hook you up. So in the description, we give everybody the starter pack, which is all of the county phone numbers. And Minnesota, what I can tell you, in the smaller counties, has lists available literally today that you guys can go and get started with. We had a question about Philly come up, and this is why it's so important for everybody to participate, because as we see your questions and where you're tuning in from, we'll just take a little bit of a detour and answer your question and show some goods in that area. So Josh, should we hand it over to your screen, or do you need a minute?
Oh, no, we are good to go.
Great. So you can remove, or let's see, if you press the screen share button, we'll be in good shape.
Okay, there we go.
And once again, everybody, the book is in the description below. Go ahead, grab that, and we'll have all of the forms to help you do this. So we're going to add Josh's thing here, and away we go.
Okay, so here is bid for assets, and it's just bidforassets.com. If I come here to the home screen, you got sheriff sales, foreclosures, Philadelphia sheriff sales. So that's going to be our specialty channel there on Bid for Assets. And they do have a nice little welcome video there from the sheriff. And then you've got tax foreclosure auctions along with mortgage foreclosure auctions. So we're going to go ahead, click on tax foreclosure auctions. And if I show you the calendar right here, you can see that there's actually a ton of, they have a ton of auctions each month. So there was 3 there in the month of July. We focused on this one. And we really like the ones that are on the 3rd Wednesday of the month, 1, 2, 3. These auctions actually have open bids of $1,600. And so these properties, I cannot go back, but let me show you the 3rd Wednesday in August. So the next one. So we go to the 3rd Wednesday. There it is. There's 109 properties that are available. Yeah, you'll notice that the opening bid is capped at $1,600. And so the bulk of these actually have a way, way higher balance for taxes. Just to show you an example. And then, yeah, no reserve. So these are going to sell for, if one person bids on this for $1,600, they're going to sell it for $1,600. And let me just show you as an example. This is OPA. This is property assessment. And you can see the parcel right there. And so sometimes, you know what, they will say that there's a house on it, but that's not always the case. It may even be getting taxed as if there's a house on it, and it could just be a piece of land. But let me go ahead and show you the tax balance on this. So they actually owe $8,658. We got an assessed value of around 100 grand. And so the opening bid truly is $1,600. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, $1,600. And so from there, and it's going to go up as high as people are willing to bid. It could go as low, as possible. But they are willing to take a loss on these properties, which is pretty awesome. If we go ahead and look at the other auctions that are happening, those ones are done by different attorney groups. So Linebarger and GRB, they also do auctions here. So if we come to the 12th, you're going to notice that the opening bid is, August 12th. Yeah, much higher, right? So some of these are 41,000, 10,000, 4,300. So this is more of an accurate representation of what is actually owed to the county. And so Linebarger and GRB are both trying to get these numbers as close as possible to the actual amount. If we go here on Friday, the 29th, you'll see it's GRB. Same thing. So really great opportunity here to be able to scoop up some really good deals. One of our students, they bought something for 9 grand, and the actual true amount of back taxes was $108,000. And it's worth like maybe $45,000, 45, 50 grand. So there's no way anybody's going to be able to buy that, right? And so it's pretty great that we have this opportunity right now to literally buy these, from anywhere in the country, really the world. If you get an American business, US LLC, and you can get dialed in and do this, from any country. And so there's so many properties here, and there's a lot of stuff that you need to pay attention to. And so you want to make sure that you're very familiar with the rules. Not everything gets wiped at these sales. So it really depends on what's in the lawsuit, in the court record. But, taxes are pretty safe. A lot of the stuff with the code enforcement is safe, and water liens and things like that. But just a little bit of extra caution, because they can get out of hand. Even properties that are just vacant lots, we've seen like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 in water liens, which, is pretty wacky, right? I mean, how are you going to get $8,000 in water liens for a vacant property that has no house? And so we're always just on the lookout for kind of all of these interesting, odd things that the county does, and become aware of them. But you'll find rules here, how to participate, a lot of stuff like that. There's a ton of tutorials, which is super helpful. But as always, buyer beware, because they're not going to get into the nitty gritty. They're not going to get into if commercial trash liens are going to be wiped, if they're going to be wiped or not. And on our YouTube channel, we did address this before. So if you are interested in Philadelphia auctions, go watch our title video that we did recently. We showcased what a court record looks like in Philadelphia. But there's a ton of opportunity here. And each month we do virtual auctions together. And we've seen really good deals in the year 2025. I would say the one other thing to be mindful of, and if you know it's coming, then you won't get too frustrated. But it's very easy for people to get their property taken off the list. They can get on a payment plan. And so it's very common, it's very normal. If you have 109 properties going to the auction, or 194 or 89, it's very common for like 60, 70% of those to get redeemed. And it's not that the work is in vain. If you drive a property, if you do the work, if you do the research, and it gets postponed, chances are it may come back again. We've seen properties get postponed 7 times, and then maybe they're going to make it on the 8th. So it's just part of the process, and give yourself a little bit of time, because let's say this particular auction, we go really hard for like 2.5 days, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-hour days. But if you leave yourself a week, to try to get through as many as possible, that should be pretty helpful. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity here, and I'm not sure, how long it's going to take for them to work through the backlog. So if you are interested in Philadelphia auctions, you got to take action now, because they are going to get through the backlog, and it's not always going to be like this. There's not always going to be hundreds of properties going each month. So it's a great time to get into this.
Nice. Yeah, those opening bids are super attractive, like $1,600. There's some amazing opportunities there. And the other cool thing about Philly, and some of these auctions is the fact that you can actually do almost like a wholesale thing where you can assign the winning bid. So there's a lot of leverage available at these auctions, especially the Philly ones. And here's what I mean is you put down 10%, and then what is it, Josh? 14 or 30 days until you pay.
You got about 15 days.
Yeah, so you have 15 days. So let's run this scenario. Let's say there's a house and it's worth $100,000, and maybe you get it for 20 cents on the dollar, 20 grand. So what that can mean is you'll put down $2,000 because you bid 20. But the cool thing is you can assign the bid, which is great. So if you played it smart, you could find a 100K house, maybe win the bid for 20 grand. You put down $2,000, but then you can assign your winning bid to somebody else. So say you want to make a quick 20 grand, you find a buyer for 40, and then you assign it to them. They give you a $20,000 assignment fee. Then they pay off the lien, and you just basically made yourself $20,000 with $2,000 of capital, which is very cool. Now, obviously, you need to be careful and make sure you're finding a good property, which is part of the research. That's the biggest mistake that people make. And we saw this yesterday. Timothy, if you're watching, we'd like to use you as a case study again. He said, hey, I bought a property. I don't know if there's liens on it. So he took action, which is great, but he didn't, watch these videos and check to see if there was any liens on the property that didn't get erased. So that's why we're here on this channel, to help everybody do that research and do it properly. So we have videos on this. We have several great title videos, and then obviously the book, as far as this walks you through the steps of the title, everything you need to know step by step, all of the forms, all of the questions. That is for free below in the description. From there, a lot of people are always like, all right, you guys, you YouTube gurus, what are you trying to do? These guys are just gurus trying to sell a course. So we hear that a lot, obviously, because, these days, everybody and their dog, or actually even their dog, has YouTube channels. Very famous and wealthy millionaire celebrity influencer dogs have channels. But for anybody just tuning in, our agenda is pretty simple. Our goal is to provide the Tax Lien Deed community with as much value as possible. If you only ever watch our videos and get our free stuff, you're going to be able to take action, find these properties, and away you go. Now, years ago, we used to sell this thing. I think over 50,000 people have bought it, and we'd have thousands of people come in every month buying this. But we decided to change our model to where, hey, we're going to just work one-on-one with people, and we're going to bring them to auctions with us. We can build them AIs. So we work with a lot fewer people one-on-one for the people who want help. So maybe you go find one of these auctions and you're like, hey, I found the list of properties. Can you guys look at it for me? So that's what we do. And in full transparency, it is a business, right? It's the same way some people maybe want to read a cookbook, cook at home. Someone like me wants to go to a restaurant and just have somebody cook for me. And when I went to my first sale, basically I met a mentor at the sale, and he's the one who literally held my hand up, buy this property. So that made the big difference for me. And that's our agenda. And it really raises the water in all boats, because it saves people a couple of years of trial and error if they want to work with us. And for the folks who are self-sufficient, grab the book, watch the videos. You are in good shape. You are in control of your destiny here. But I always find it funny when people are on YouTube and they're selling something and they're like, it's just all about having an impact. And they're totally not acknowledging the fact that their primary driver is to sell stuff. And we're just transparent. We give away stuff, but we also have trainings that are very effective. And that is a business, and we're out, we're doing it. So if anybody is not familiar with our agenda, that's what it is. So I want to walk you guys through some of the counties in Minnesota that will have some more tax deeds available starting right now, and tell us who's tuning in. As you can see, we just did a deep dive into Philly here because somebody said, hey, had some questions on Philly. So I just want to acknowledge everybody who's here right now. And if you're watching the replay of this, let us know as far as where you're tuning in from. So Roxy's saying she wants to start with tax liens. So quick insight. only start with tax liens if you have at least 40 to 50 grand, in my opinion, because your capital is going to be tied up for up to 2 to 3 years. So you need to be okay with that. If you want to make wealth in this business and do it quickly, starting with tax deeds is the way to go, because you can make some money. And then maybe when you have 50 grand, you could put 20,000 into tax liens. And then you can get the big home runs with a tax lien, because 95% of tax liens redeem. So you're going to get an interest rate on the tax lien, but for 1 in every 20 property, or 1 in every 20 tax liens you buy, you're going to end up with a property. And that can be huge, because a tax lien is generally, 3% of the market value on the property. And then you can foreclose. And that's where, like, back in the day, I don't know, Josh, if you saw them, but there was, the infomercials, and they'd be like, I got this $200,000 house for just $300. So they were misleading back then. And I think that guy went to jail because he had fake testimonials. But the way it really works is, say there's $100,000 house, the back taxes for that year are $1,000. You buy the first year tax lien, and then from there it goes 3 years without paying you your tax lien plus interest. And at that point you can foreclose. So the foreclosure process is you pay out the other 2 liens. So that's $3,000. Then you would hire an attorney to do the foreclosure, $2,000. So you could have yourself a $100,000 house for just $5,000. But the process of getting there means you'd have to buy 20 tax liens, which you would get an interest rate on. And then after that, it's going to be about 2 to 3 years before you can cash in. So Roxy, if you're starting off, make sure you have, that factored in. So Kathy, welcome. Kenneth, Desiree, good to see you here. We don't have much to start with. So yeah, over-the-counter tax deeds are going to be the way to go for you here. And good basics question. What does back taxes mean? So what back taxes mean is, if you buy a house and every year you have your property taxes, if you don't pay those property taxes, every year you don't pay, it's a back tax year. So normally after 3 to 5 years, if you do that, these things will go to the tax deed auction. So Adam, interested in deeds, Kansas. Josh, I don't think we've been to Kansas yet, have we?
We've had someone buy a property in Kansas, but we could do a little bit of digging. Actually, I did a little bit of digging too on New York. Ooh. I've got some interesting stuff that I was able to find.
Great. Let's take a look at New York. And then before we leave today, I will get county names for more Minnesota. Let's see. Tenny is saying the problem is it drives up prices, bidding wars. So here's the thing to keep in mind. We have, 1,500 tax deed counties. They're all in this below, all of the phone numbers. Make sure to grab it and print it out. But what happens is we're here to share with you guys where these sales are. And it's important to take action, because we happen to be, the top YouTube channel on tax liens and deeds based on subscribers and over 3,500 videos. So what generally happens is we make a video, and there's people watching this right now who are going to the places that we show, and they're buying properties. So a lot of the times, if you decide to come back tomorrow, it could be too late. They could be gone. So that's why speed is key in this sort of stuff. So with all of these counties, like, for example, I know Josh right now is looking at a secret list of properties that, what are they, like $20 opening bids?
Yeah, that's pretty low.
Exactly. So we have that because we're bidding on those right now. So one of the questions is like, guys, this works so good, why isn't everybody doing it? Or, what's your agenda? So what we do is we show you guys there's way too many of these counties for us to just go and do it. So we go amongst these 1,500 and we show you guys where there's opportunity. But at the same time, we find our own secret stashes in here. And Josh has a couple right now. The opening bid's like $20. And some of them are over the counter properties for like $20. So we're working that. Like, there's so many different fishing holes, and that's what's exciting. So if there's a bidding war, there's 3,000 other counties you guys can go to. So Josh, New York, let's do it. And for anybody tuning in, Dustin Hahn here, Josh Blanchard. We're talking about tax liens and deeds. So if you guys like this, do us a favor, thumbs up. Let us know your name and where you're tuning in from. The reason that's important is because when you tell us, so for example, Edward from New York, we can pivot real quick, do a little bit of a dive into New York and see what's going on and really do our best to help you out. So let's take a look at New York.
Okay, so I never have heard of this before, but this is what it used to be called, was a leftover list. And so if you Google or you search like county held, over the counter, unsold, anything like that, I wasn't finding it. But then all of a sudden, tried leftover list, and look at that. Now, this is the catch though. It's actually paused due to recent changes in NYS real property law. But the thing is if you stay on top of this, there may be a day that all of a sudden they start doing these auctions again. And that happened in one of the Dakotas. They stopped doing things for, I don't know, 3 years. And all of a sudden they picked it back up again. And there was tremendous opportunity available for those who were keeping tabs. And so just looking at some of these really quickly, a lot of them look like vacant land, but I am seeing like 6.4 acres, 1.5 acres. And so maybe it's available for like $4,000 or 15,000. Yeah, that's delinquent taxes as of May 1st, 2024. And so to be able to pick up, 1.5 acres, 6.4 acres, for $20,000 in New York is that's a steal. And so it has paused, but finding this and knowing about it, this is something that you definitely want to keep tabs on. And then from there, I did find a surplus list. I got a lot of tabs open here. Maybe Dutchess, New York. So this may be something, and we won't like stop to kind of do a deep dive into any of these, but these are some websites and just places for you to be able to look. This was another leftover list. Not sure if they're good or not, but we haven't really uncovered a lot of this before. This is in Allegheny, New York. And so if you target, the right search words, you may have a much better chance of finding the right thing. Looks like Steuben County is online now. And so not sure if they got some leftover things. But yeah, I recommend using the word leftover, seeing if that triggers some different websites or opens up some different avenues, because I've never heard it called that before. And so this is just a great example of interacting with us live on the stream, because otherwise we wouldn't have uncovered this information and been able to help. So yeah, that's some great insight for sure, and some really good places to look at.
Excellent.
Voila.
Josh, what's that?
Oh, there we go.
Good stuff. Josh, how you doing for time? Just let me know and I can
Good.
keep the party going. Excellent. Welcome, everybody. We got lots of folks tuning in. Very awesome to see Josh. Let's see. Josh, the bass player, doesn't need guitar. That's pretty fun. Josh is a much more experienced actual musician. It seems to be almost a company thing that you must play an instrument to work with us, as most of the people who work with us are musically talented. Josh, do you play bass?
Poorly. I could like fill in for a pop band.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Nice. Good stuff. You give me simple chords. I can strum the simple stuff. And then Corey can rip the solos. Josh can play the drums too. Let's see. How do you unload after you win the deeds without improving the property? Great question. So this is very important, that when before you buy a property, you have to think it through as far as what's the exit plan, what's the exit strategy on this thing. And you don't want to just buy junk. We see that all the time. Just because something says it's worth 80 grand and the opening bid is 500 bucks, is it a piece of junk? Is it a burnt down? Is it an environmental hazard? So, you make your money on the way in by, looking at, okay, what are we going to do with this thing? Okay. Let's see. So what are the best places to get over the counter tax deeds? Not too much money if you want to get this first try from home. So I have a sheet pulled up here right now. I just want to acknowledge Fraser. Hello. What's up, Wasim? Ron, Kathy in Colorado, San Diego, Huntington Beach, outside of Columbus, Ohio. Nice. We do a lot in Cincinnati. What's happening, Tony? Good to see you here. Gus. And let's see, learning acoustic guitar. Right on. 6 months. That's where we use YouTube, which is sweet. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I have several counties kind of by population that we're just going to go over. And the best thing you can do is take screenshots and then pair this with the information in the book. So the book walks you through all of the steps as far as the notes that you need to be taking. For example, like the checklists for the exterior. So whenever you look at a property, you will go through this list: the minimum bid, the max you're willing to pay, the goals for the property, who's going to buy it, condition of the neighborhood. Is the market area going up or down? What is the value? So this is what we do for every property that we buy. And this is our checklist that we go through. So when you guys are looking at these, you go through that checklist, and that's how you kind of learn what things are worth. So I'm just going to pop over here, and here we go. My screen is up, and we're going to rock and roll here. So check it out. I put this together. You guys can screenshot this and hop on, like call these guys literally right now. So we have Atkin County, population is 15,000. Let's see, 2025, anything not sold in the May auction will be offered starting June 2nd. So you can go here. Here's the county website, all that sort of stuff. You can go and start to look at that one. We have Cass County, population 30,000. And then from here, there's many small towns available, and you can often find very cheap lots of land in these areas, and they could be just a couple $100 and you could sell them for a few thousand. We have Chippewa County, 12,000 people. Here's the phone number, 320-269-7447. This is what everybody should be doing right now, is taking action. Call them up and ask for the list. Now, they might be like, why are hundreds of people calling us? But hey, we're helping them. We're bringing in county tax dollars. So let's see. This is the treasurer's office number. We have Clearwater County, population 8,000. Here's the phone number, 218-694-6520. We have Cook County, 5,600. So remember, over-the-counter deeds is a game of elbow grease, all right? You don't have as much money to get started, but you work harder and get these lists. This is where virtual assistants can really help you out a lot as well. Let's see, we have Grant County. We have Hubbard County. You can give them a call, 218-732-4270, or you can go to their website here. But just take some screenshots of these with the phone numbers, and you guys will be in good shape. We have a whole bunch of them. Just take screenshots. If I'm moving too fast, just come back, watch the replay, and take screenshots. So these are all of the phone numbers. Give them a call and ask them, hey, first off, when is the auction? And B, can I get the list of anything that didn't sell? They will send you a PDF and you can look through it. So we'll come down to this one. Otter County, population 60,000, and this is the Battle Lake area. You can call them up, 218-998-8030, should be good. And then Pine County, and get the list of get the list of properties from them and start to figure out your game plan and your bids on these. Well, not your bids, because you can go and literally buy some of them right now, and they will get you access. Let's see, still doing your homework. Yeah, that's what these live streams are about, is doing homework and getting in the mix, which is the name of the game. I'm going to pull up here. Let's see. So we have an over-the-counter list right here, and then they're going to send you a list that's going to look like this. And here we go. Boom. And then you will go through it as far as the assessed amount, the sale amount.
Is your screen supposed to be on, or?
Let's see here. I'm going to show the screen right now. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So Josh had lists like this yesterday going, and this is super easy. They're going to send you these. You'll get a PDF. And remember, the more complicated these lists are, the better it's going to be, because it scares people away. We have the owner's name, and remember, YouTube, this is public information, so we're not disclosing anything that is not public information. And the next thing you need to do, get the PDF and then call them up and ask them how to decipher the list. Is super important in doing your research. And then for each one of these, you're going to open a file, you're going to start diving in. So we have a list like that, but the key thing is doing proper research on these properties and taking action. Like, that's one of the I would say one of the biggest things that causes folks to fail in this is, everybody's kind of wants the quick fix these days. And not nobody, but, the sad thing is it's a double-edged sword being here on the internet because everything is instant gratification these days. Whereas when you look at anything you've done in your life, what's the commonality? You put in some time to it. So many people, they're like, oh, I went to a sale and everything got bid up. I'm like, oh, where do you live? They're like, oh, I live in San Diego. Like, of course, it's a big county. It's super populated, but there's thousands of these counties. And if you put in an hour or two per day, 5 days a week, you can really be on a path to building wealth in this business. And for example, the thing that's going to make you money in this is doing what you need to do when you don't feel like it. That's really the key to, everything. If you're overweight, if you're smoking, if you want to make more money, we generally know what we need to do. But the problem is that the motivated version of yourself in this moment might not be motivated 2 hours from now. So that's why it's super important. For example, like myself, Josh, and Corey, we have accountability challenges. For example, here I'm going to be hitting the gym by 2:30 today, and I keep this onion on my desk because my punishment for not being accountable is to take a bite of this disgusting raw onion. I absolutely hate onions. So I need to be hitting that gym by 2:30 here. Otherwise, the onion is on the line. And what's funny is on Monday, I didn't kick in my accountability. I'm like, yeah, I'll be in that gym by 2:30. And guess what happened? I didn't do it. So this helps a lot. And one of the things you can do is tie in some sort of negative consequence to your action, because we want to hear from you as far as what type of actions you've taken. So everybody who's here, we want you to tune in on the next live stream and tell us the action that you've taken. So we know who's here. Everybody from the beginning. Daniel, Dave, me. How do you say that? Rogelio, Roxy, Wissam, everybody come back, go take your action. Desiree, Tenny, Mia. Well, I want to hear from you guys next week as far as what you did and what action you took. And actually, that's what I want to see in the chat right now. We've got a bunch of people tuned in. If you're watching the replay of this, post in the chat what you're going to do. Are you going to call some of these counties? Are you going to watch the replay? That is the biggest thing, because I know for a fact that if everybody here watching were multimillionaires, they wouldn't be here watching. They'd probably be out on their boat or doing something else. So at the end of the day, action is needed. And it's kind of the classic cliche of the person who you are right now needs to change. You need to kind of morph into the next version of yourself that is going to be doing this stuff. And you're going to have to break out of the habits that you're currently in and do something different. And that is very, very hard. Collie Rowe. Okay, cool.
Nice
stuff. Yeah. So I was like, how do you pronounce that name? Let's see. Tenny's going to work on over-the-counter Michigan for next month. Awesome. Michigan has some sales coming up. Let's see here. Kathy in Colorado, tax lien treasure deed is 3 years, $1,200 fee. Okay, great. $1,200 is very fair to get that deed. Let's see. Good stuff. OTC, Minnesota. Excellent. We love to hear that. And now's the time. When we finish this stream here today, go take action. Go to the sites. Let's see, Josh. Any parting words here?
There was, I think someone had asked about some advice or next steps. Yes, he's doing some homework in Maryland. That's right, OTC. So what you can do if you really want to find the gold beyond the gold, the gems beyond the gems, if you just make a list of counties in Maryland, and you start searching online for county held stuff, over-the-counter stuff, any auctions or any counties that you can't find online, kind of just put a little asterisk next to that, a little star, and follow up with the county, because there's a lot of people who won't go beyond that. And so, there's a lot of questions today too about best places to get over the counter tax deeds, because we could literally blast, so many for sure. But I would say stick with one place for a little bit before you move on to the next, because we could show you this other spot and this other spot and this other spot. And if you just go from one to the next to the next to the next to the next, you may not be able to sit still long enough to get that traction and momentum. But yeah, you could certainly make a list. And Maryland's a great place to start. And any place you can't find, give them a call and see if they have a county held list. I think that's going to be a great use of time. And that could just be, that could even be 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. That's going to compound over the span of a week. Even if you have literally no time, it could just be on your lunch break. We have students who have full-time jobs and they're just like squeezing the time out of the day and they're milking it, making the most of the opportunity. And one student got a property that's going to net return, maybe a couple $100,000, which is actually life-changing. And so it's possible. And that little bit of time each day compounds for sure, but that's a great use of time. Absolutely.
Nice. What about Atlanta, Georgia? Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia, tax deed state. Auctions are the first Tuesday of the month. And go hit them up. They're great options. Let's see. What's looking to get some property at Treasure, Florida. Need your guys' help. Yeah. So, once again, for anybody who's tuning in, like if you want to get a deal quickly with our help, whether that's coming to a live auction with us, Josh is going to the Philly auction virtually. If you want to attend an auction from home with us and learn by doing, basically what we do is we get together live like this, except we're attending an auction. So, like I mentioned, we give away everything you need to get started. But if you want some one-on-one help, like I mentioned, when I went to my first auction, I had a coach with me who literally grabbed my hand and lifted it up saying, this is a good property, bid, and showing me, what the dangers were. That worked really well for me. And I got a property at my very first auction that I ever went to. And because of that, and if that coach wasn't there, I would not have taken action. I would have been way too scared. And, you need to kind of do an evaluation of what camp you're in. If you're a go-getter, you're going to it by yourself. That's awesome. We'll help you out with our videos, with our trainings, with our lives. But if you're afraid of making a mistake, or you're like, oh, I don't have all the information, then maybe you want one-on-one help. And there's a link in the description. You can book a free call and we can see if we can help you join us at an auction or build you a personalized AI that can do a lot of this for you. So all of that is for free below, and we can help you out. Let's see here. Oh, Josh, sealed bid.
Yeah, the sealed bid thing has never been great. I like it when the county says, send us a bid, send us an offer. This is the lowest that we'll take, because obviously now you've got a number to work with. And when it's a sealed bid, you have no idea. And so, maybe you just put in something low, but it could be a waste of time. And so I think the less funky rules they have like that, the better. And so a sealed bid auction, we wouldn't really be fans of, but there could also be opportunity. And so if you look in the past, that could be helpful to figure out if there are good deals in there. Because if people have gotten deals at auctions, then I think that, it's worth doing it. But if there's no deals at the auctions and it's sealed bid, then I would move on. So a little bit of due diligence first before deciding if you want to participate or not.
Nice. Let's see. Ready for financial freedom and deeds. Want to do good research before purchasing. Yeah, and that's a huge part of this game is the research. One of the mistakes that folks make is they don't research. They see an opening bid, they see the value, they just look on Google Streets, and then they go buy. But they don't realize maybe they bought the wrong property. Or one of the great quotes that Josh says that I've never heard anybody else say in this industry is, just because a property is for sale at a tax auction doesn't mean it's a tax sale property. And for example, Texas is a great example, because the sheriff, at the same time he's auctioning off the tax deeds, is auctioning off the homeowner association foreclosures, and they're mixed in there. And you need to be able to tell, because we've seen people who don't do deep dives or investigate. They literally just get the list. They see how much it is. They pull it up on Google, and then they go and bid. And we've seen people, like, say it's a $300,000 house. They go spend $100,000, but they don't realize there's a $250,000 mortgage because it wasn't a tax deed sale. It was a homeowner association property. And to us, like, we're shocked. We're shocked. Like, have you ever watched any of our videos ever that we're always saying, like, do your research to make sure. So, the research is outlined in the book here, step by step, which is our checklists that we go through every single time. This thing started out, and it still is our own internal checklist when we're going to these auctions. So it's in the description below. Go grab it. Free gift for everybody, along with the Tax Lien and Deed directories here. So you can just call them up and get down to business as well. But if you still feel you want more information, or you want us to look at your properties, you can schedule a free call and we can see what it's like to work together. Let's see, Wasim, that's a sweet picture by that big jet engine. Very, very cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very neat picture there. Let's see, Ro, appreciate it. Great for the help, doing the research. Nice work. Let's see. Realistically, how much do you need to get a decent deal? So I always like to give the example of, this is a train going to different stations, and the very first stop could be station 1, $50, buying some super cheap over-the-counter properties. Basically, the more money you have, the quicker you can go, right? So you could find something for 10,000 that's worth 50, sell it, make a quick 20 or 30, and away you go. Some folks might have a couple hundred or a couple million. They can get into different games. So my recommendation, though, is if you have a credit score of even 650 or above, you can use OPM to buy these. And we actually work with like OPM options that some of our members use to buy properties if they have a credit score of 650 plus. So if you have just $500 to your name, or less than a couple grand, then you'll just need to grind it out on some of these over-the-counter tax deeds so that you can work your way up and into the game of real estate. So that's the name here. Downloaded the books. Good stuff. Awesome, guys. Well, we had a good show up today. It's time to get busy. So if you didn't see the live stream from yesterday, you can check that out. It was awesome. We showed top 3 over-the-counter places available. Let's see. Kathy's saying, trying to put together a game plan. Invest in multiple tax deed liens, hoping to obtain tax deed. Let's see. Not sure about flipping in another state. Yeah, so that's part of it. You can start in your own backyard, wherever you're comfortable or wherever makes sense for you. So everybody who's here, if it's your first time tuning in, awesome. It's time to get to work, find some deals, and then tune back in on the next one. Let us know what you've been up to. Guys, if you like this stuff, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. For some reason, even if you are subscribed, you might not see this content. So that's why it's important to just come check the channel or turn on notifications as well, and you'll be in good shape. Once again, the directory, or if you want to come with us to an auction in person in the flesh, then you can schedule a free call below. Or if you're going to go to one of these auctions and want help and want us to evaluate your properties, make sure you haven't missed anything, we can do that. That link is in the description. You can schedule a call. And regardless, thanks for tuning in. It's time to go do something. Everybody watching this, go do something. That's the most important thing. If they're on my tombstone, that would be what it says. Go do something. Stop. Just because we watch content, it feels good, but it's back to that old adage, it's like reading a menu, expecting to get full. This is the menu. Now it's time to go take a bite out of some deals. So on that note, thanks a lot, guys. Let's see. Wait to sell a lot. How much time I have to wait to sell? You have to wait 6 months. Texas is a 6-month redemption period. So good stuff. Mellow yellow. All right, guys, we're going to hop off. We'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.